Hey everyone! We are working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content and it is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button right now as we proceed. If you enjoy this video, smash that like button right now, hit subscribe and drop a comment below telling us, do you think Eala wins a Grand Slam within the next 3 years? We want to hear everything. Now let's get into it because this story is absolutely wild. Picture this. You are a 20-year-old girl from the Philippines. You are ranked 32nd in the world. You have already beaten Iga Swiatek, one of the greatest players of her generation. You have already stunned Madison Keys, Yelena Ostapenko, and Jasmine Paolini. And now, the man who spent years coaching Roger Federer, the man who helped sculpt arguably the most elegant and tactically brilliant game in the history of tennis, goes on live television and tells the entire world that he likes your game. Not just likes it, he breaks it down. He gets specific. He points to things in your tennis that remind him of qualities he spent a career developing in one of the sport's immortals. That is the reality of Eala's life right now. And if you think that is not a big deal, you have not been paying attention. The man in question is Paul Annacone. For those unfamiliar, Annacone is not just some former player turned commentator handing out warm compliments to keep things pleasant on air. This is a former world number 12 who went on to coach Pete Sampras, 14 Grand Slam titles, and then Roger Federer, 20 Grand Slam titles. Between those two players alone, Annacone was present in the coaching box for 34 major championships. He has forgotten more about elite tennis than most people will ever learn. When Paul Annacone speaks about a player with genuine enthusiasm, the tennis world listens. And when he appeared on Tennis Channel Live ahead of Indian Wells, he did not hold back. He said, and remember, this is a man who has seen everything, I like her game. He pointed specifically to her ability to take the ball early and redirect, to her remarkable hand-eye coordination, and to the grace and humility she showed after beating Swiatek in Miami last year. Then he said something that quietly said everything, that he has been watching her try to continue to progress, and that it was terrific to see. That is the language of someone who genuinely respects what they are watching. That is not polite television filler. That is an endorsement from one of the most credentialed coaching minds in the sport. Now let us talk about who Eala actually is, because some of you are still catching up on this story and you deserve the full picture. Alexandra Eala is 20 years old. She is a left-handed power baseline player from Manila, Philippines, and she has been doing extraordinary things in tennis since before most of us were paying attention. She won the 2022 US Open Junior Singles title at just 17 years old. She trained at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Mallorca, the same environment that produced the sport's most mentally fierce competitor, and it shows in every single match she plays. She finished the 2025 season as the first Filipina in history to win a WTA singles title, the first to break into the top 100 in the world, and the first to reach a WTA 1000 semifinal. She ended 2025 ranked 50th in the world. And in 2026, she has already rocketed to world number 31, reaching the quarterfinals in Dubai before losing to Coco Gauff, and now walking into Indian Wells as a seeded player for the very first time. This is not a player who is getting lucky. This is a player who is building something. The Miami Open run in 2025 was the moment that turned the entire tennis world upside down. Eala entered that tournament as a wild card. She was ranked outside the top 140. She had no business being in the draw at all on paper. And then she went out and beat Madison Keys. And then Yelena Ostapenko. And this is where the whole world stopped, she beat Iga Swiatek. 6-time Grand Slam champion. The most dominant player on the women's tour for years. Gone. Eala beat her with the kind of fearless, attacking, tactically precise tennis that makes broadcasters scramble for superlatives. She eventually lost to Jessica Pegula in the semifinals, but by that point it did not matter. The tennis world had already fallen completely in love. And this is exactly why Annacone's comments carry so much more weight than the usual praise that gets thrown around. Because what he identified, the ability to take the ball early and redirect, is not a flashy skill that looks good on highlight reels. It is a deeply sophisticated technical quality. Taking the ball early means compressing time. It means the opponent barely finishes their shot before the ball is coming back at them, harder, from a different angle, in a direction they did not expect. It is the tennis equivalent of finishing someone's sentences before they have even started speaking. It requires exceptional hand-eye coordination, extraordinary footwork, and the kind of court intelligence that lets you process the entire geometry of the situation in a fraction of a second. Federer built his entire career on this quality. He did not overpower opponents. He outthought them, outpaced their decision-making, and made the court feel smaller and faster for everyone he played against. And now Anikone is watching Eala and identifying the same seed in her game. That is not an accident. That is a deeply meaningful observation. Let us also not gloss over something that deserves far more attention than it gets. Eala is left-handed. In a tour dominated by right-handed players who practice against right-handed opponents day in and day out, a quality left-handed player creates structural problems that never fully go away, no matter how many times you face them. The serve kicks in opposite directions. The forehand cuts into angles that right-handers simply do not encounter every single week. The slice from the backhand side does something different. It accumulates. Over 3 sets of a major, those fractions of discomfort add up into something that can break even the most experienced opponent. And when you combine left-handedness with the kind of ball-striking quality and intelligence that Anikone is describing, you have a weapon that very few players on the tour know how to completely neutralize. The cultural dimension of this story is also impossible to ignore. The Philippines does not have a long history in professional tennis at the elite level. But since Eala arrived, that has changed completely. She is not just a tennis player to Filipinos. She is a symbol. She is proof that someone from Southeast Asia can walk onto the biggest courts in the world, look the Swiateks and the Goffs and the Sabalenkas in the eye, and compete. Every time she wins, millions of people who have never watched a single tennis match in their lives are glued to their screens. She has made the sport feel personal to an entirely new audience. And she handles it with a maturity and composure that is staggering for someone her age. Even Eala herself, years before all of this, said in an interview that what she most admired about Roger Federer was his grace and composure, on the court and off it, and the image he had built over the years. There is something quietly poetic about the fact that the man who helped build that image is now standing on television telling the world that he sees something special in her. Indian Wells is the immediate next chapter. It is one of the most complete tests the entire tour offers: hard courts, baking California heat, an elite field, long matches across multiple rounds. The draw has given her a potential third-round rematch with Coco Gauff, the player who just stopped her in Dubai. The players who go deep at Indian Wells are not players who got lucky one week. They are players whose games travel, who can adjust, who can compete on back-to-back days against entirely different styles. The field includes Aryna Sabalenka, Elena Rybakina, and Gauff herself, 3 of the best players on the planet. Eala is seeded. She belongs in the conversation. Whether she lifts a trophy at Indian Wells or not, the fact that Paul Anikone, a man who spent years building the games of all-time greats, is going on national television and pointing at Alex Eala and saying he likes what he sees is a landmark moment. It means she has crossed a line. She is no longer a rising prospect or a feel-good story. She is a genuine competitive force that the top of the women's tour has to take seriously every single time her name appears in the draw. The question is no longer whether Alex Eala can compete at the top level. Paul Anikone has already answered that. The only question left is just how high she goes. And if the people who helped make Roger Federer great are watching this closely, the answer might be higher than any of us are ready to imagine. If this story gave you chills the way it gave us chills, hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps the channel more than you know. Subscribe so you never miss a breakdown when the next Alex Eala moment happens, because they are coming fast and they are coming big. And drop your prediction in the comments. What is the first Grand Slam Alex Eala wins, and when does it happen? The conversation is already electric down there. We will see you in the next one.